Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Kazman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sue Fenty. I graduated in the class of 1983. I met Mr. Kazman when I was a freshman. I joined the stage crew on a show and became a techie. When I was 14, Mr. Kazman taught me how to stage manage. And I've been doing it ever since. That's 21 years, Mr. Kazman. Not too long. I'd always hoped that when I graduated, we used to do these thespian tours that took us to Bucks County Playhouse, which I'm sure you all know, and it was a taste of professional theater, and I always wanted to work there, but I never did, unfortunately. But I did manage to work on Broadway, and I've toured the world with drama and dance companies. Now I live in Australia. I stage manage for the West Australian Ballet. My husband's the head carpenter at His Majesty's Theatre. It's fantastic. I still do other things, such as last year I got to stage manage for the Queen of England for her visit to Australia. So I got to call 21 cannon salutes and aerial flyovers. A bit of fun. Hunterdon Central was a wonderful experience for me. We had a great time doing all the shows. We used to call Mr. Kazman the Big Cheese. He was our fearless leader. We had a mascot that used to appear in all the shows, LaSalle, a rubber pig. I wonder if he's still there. And we used to give Mr. Kazman heaps. We gave him a hard time, but only because we appreciated him. Like, for instance, we were doing a dress rehearsal for Pirates of Penzance, and we were supposed to fly in a banner of Queen Victoria, but we swapped the picture with a caricature of Mr. Kazman, which was very funny. I wonder if that still exists. Anyhow, Mr. Kazman, I won't keep you long. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for introducing me to the world of theater, which I've been so lucky to be a part of all these years. And thank you for showing us the ropes and teaching us professionalism and encouraging me and being a friend. I don't know where I'd be without you. I hope that you're having a great evening. I'd be there if I could. Even though I'm in another country, I would have tried to make it. But we do have a tech rehearsal on the same night. And you know, I can't miss a rehearsal. We're doing a new ballet. Anyway, enjoy your evening. Enjoy your well-deserved retirement. And if you have some free time, why don't you visit Australia?
I knew I'd need this again someday. This has been hanging in my room for 25 years, whatever. Queen Victoria and I go back a long way. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes. I'm going to keep this real short and brief to welcome you and to thank you for coming to support the Kazman Performing Arts Scholarship and all of the wonderful performers we're going to be seeing here tonight. Every production is an adventure. I've got to say, 33 years of doing shows here, we've never had a fire alarm go off. Well, I shouldn't miss anything before I leave. You know, we have to experience it all. I'm going to extend a personal apology to 4 people whose names were left off the program because my brain has been totally fried by this week, as you can imagine. And they are working very hard as crew and as friends. Julie Ansman, John Kubicek, Sarah Monahan, and my personal theatrical lighting designer and our supplier, Bill Nelson. And I couldn't do this production without them as well. Really nice. I hope you were all writing their names in the program while I was doing that. I've also been asked by several people to warn you that strobes are going to be going off in the 3rd act. Since I haven't seen them, I have no idea how damaging that might be, but you've been warned. If you briefly take a look at the last page, I'm not going to dwell on it, but the last page of the program has my personal dedication for the show to 2 men that I miss, that I think about, I worked very closely with for a long time, and we had a very special relationship, John Krause and Bob Wimmer. And 2 other people who were my partners in crime and everything else we did for a long time, Linda Batts and Ann Sauerland, and a whole bunch of other staff members and faculty. And all of these people really are part of this evening. Many of them are no longer anywhere near the area, but they were an important part of our productions. And I want to thank them while I'm thanking all of the, excuse me, the alumni. That's not crying, that's just a frog in the throat. I'm not known as a sentimental person, but tonight this might be the break. You're going to hear a lot of biographies of various people, and we're going to introduce them and tell you a little bit about them. And I thought I would give you my biography while we're at it, so you'd know. What? What?
Adjust the mic for me.
The show's running.
I know, just don't argue with me.
I never argue with you.
No, see, he would tell you what he wants you to know, but I'm going to tell you the biography that nobody knows. The subtitle, Would He Still Be Here If He Never Left? Bells started ringing in 1969 when Harry came a lot to hear the sound of music in the hallowed halls of Hunterdon Central. Others taught him how to succeed, and as wise as he was, he decided to hang around. Emperors, kings, and I advised him to put down roots, but a funny thing happened on the way. Though he will never admit it, even though I told him to hang a right, he went left. To his surprise, he landed south of the Pacific, where a great mattress and a host of his latest reviews were met with much appreciation. They were the best he received in his fledgling career as teacher, coordinator of the drama program, director, lighting designer, set designer, sound designer, makeup artist, producer, and choreographer. His dancers are still dizzy from all the circles. And Linda Batts, director of many, many shows at Central, was very, very patient with him. Yet he persevered in his attempt to reach his school. He met many good people along the way. Even though Charlie Brown was no Cinderella or Lil Abner, and certainly no Oklahoman pirate of Penzance, Harry enjoyed Charlie's company, wildly waving bye-bye to the birdies whenever they went out. Always the dandy, Harry wore his pinafore with pride, proclaiming that he does indeed have good taste in clothes. Just catch a look at the nifty black outfits he procured from all those guys and dolls he hung around with. But I digress. In 1986, Harry's journey and his stubborn streak left him where? You guessed it, south of the Pacific again. This time, a wonderful man of La Mancha gave him a foolproof route back to the wizards at HCRHS. Harry was eager to return, though he carouseled on his way to the Forum, believing he would reach his beloved Central without really trying. Just like his golf game, he could once more wave bye-bye birdie to his dreams of reaching room 216. He started to panic as the sounds of music again dominated his distracted brain. Even the king and I from as far away as Oklahoma could not match the fiddler on his roof. He was pathetically lost. I had to do something fast. I said, "Kiss me, kiddo," and he finally admitted that bells were ringing. He remembered that once upon a mattress, long ago, in the romantic isles of the South Pacific, he spent a blissful night reading the final reviews of his last shows. Not one was panned, and calmly, gratefully, with the lowest blood pressure in years, he declared that he was now, really and truly, ready to fly home. So, welcome home, Harry. I'll miss you at Central.
Well, thank you for coming. That's all the entertainment we have for you. I'm now going to turn this over to the alumni. They are going to handle the rest of the show. They're doing all the tech work, they're all the performing, and I'm going to introduce you to our hostess for the evening. Jeanette Kozak, Hunterdon Central class of '92, was president of the thespian troupe, as well as a state board member. And she was voted class actress at Central. She went on to receive her BFA in theater at the University of Illinois. And she now resides in Los Angeles, has come in all the way from there. She's made appearances in films and television shows, produced and starred in a short film, The Family Porter, and is directing and producing and starring in 3 new plays that will open next month in Hollywood. God, what a wonderful word that is, Hollywood. Jeanette is a founder and board member of the Creative Actors Alliance, and she will never forget the instructions that I give to everybody out here, and that is to thank Harry and Reva in her Academy Award acceptance speech. There it goes out.
Well, since I haven't won my Academy Award yet, I brought you your very own all the way from Hollywood. Well, now Harry gets to sit back and enjoy the show, and the alums are taking over. We have many great performers, all of whom have been inspired during Harry's 33 years teaching here, and we're going to get the show going. We're going to start with Lisa Hall, class of '73. She's a professional equity actress, singer, and cabaret performer. She performs in Manhattan, as well as Atlantic City and all around the East Coast during regional theater and cabaret acts, and she's going to start us off with a song.
It just seems like it's only been, not that long that I was on this stage, but it's been 28 years. But anyway, folks, it is so nice to be back here, and I have to tell you, Mr. Kazman is responsible for me going to New York and becoming an actress, and I don't know if I should kiss him or kick him. No, I've had a very good time doing theater and singing in New York. And it is all because he first cast me in the senior class play when I was a junior. And that was my first taste of theater. I played a dead person in Our Town. I was next cast in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And I really wanted one of those singing roles, but he gave me the part of a scrub woman. The next one we did was, we did a Devil's Cabaret. And I was the saloon singer who couldn't sing. But the best thing he cast me in was our musical, The Wizard of Oz. And I got to be the Wicked Witch of the West. And I truly love that. I later did that in children's theater where I earned my equity card, so it came in very well. And we have here, let's see, Will, Ted, and Mike. Right? Okay, hi boys. Now, the first number is going to be an audience participation. So, what I have to ask you to do is to reach in your pockets or your purses and get your keys out. Your car keys, your house keys. And we're going to put them in a big bowl, and at the end, everybody's going to pick and then go home with that person. No, I'm kidding. And at the end of the number, any single man over 39 can throw their keys on the stage to me. On the stage, not at me, okay? Now, this song happens to be a true story. And when we get to the part where I'm going to go like this to ring, you're going to shake your keys. So let's all shake your keys now. Let me hear. Very good. That's bells. Hear it? Ching, 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 ching. Okay, when I go like this, then that means you stop. Okay, you got it? Now you got to stay with me on this because I'll die without your key jingling. Okay? Now, this lady happens to live just a few blocks from me around the corner. And she went through quite a bit to find a man. Now, I'm going to Mykonos, Greece this summer to sing for 2 months. And I hope that I get to be as lucky as she is. Gather around, I got a story to tell about a Manhattan lady that I know very well. She lives in Five Riverside, her name is Shirley DeVore, and she traveled around the world to meet the guy next door. Well, there was trouble inside apartment 29E, cause Shirley's mother and dad were as upset as could be. They said, we hate to complain, dear, and we don't like to grouse, but you're nearly 32, you should get out of the house. Ready? You gotta ring them bells, you gotta ring them bells, you gotta make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing, they're a ting-a-ling, you gotta ring them bells. Very good. Now Shirley was 31, which she was loath to admit, but she had never been loved, which didn't thrill her a bit. And so she sat and she thought for hours on end. She said, I'll go to Chase Manhattan where I got me a friend. And so she borrowed a thou and called TWA and told her mother and dad that she was up and away. I'm gonna travel the continent a month, maybe 2, and haul me home a huzz if it's the last thing I do. You gotta ring them bells, you gotta ring them bells, you gotta make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing, they're a ting-a-ling, you gotta ring them bells. She met a Londoner first, but they did not hit it off, because every time she approached, he got a bronchial cough. And so she went to Madrid and met a handsome senor, but he liked to throw the bull, and he was no matador. She also bombed out in Brussels, in Mallorca, and Rome, till someone said, try the Brockton, dear, before you go home, because it's the kind of a town that you're most likely to fall, and a Tony Cognagente find a boat in your pull. You really must. Ring them bells, you gotta ring them bells. You gotta sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing. They're a ting-a-ling, you gotta ring them bells. And so she went to Dubrovnik, and the very first day she met a guy on the said, I'm Norm Saperstein. She said, are you from New York? He goes, that can't be denied. I got a swell junior 3 and number 5 Riverside. 5 Riverside Drive in New York? That's where you live? That's where I live! As if that wasn't enough, poor Shirley thought she'd gone deaf when he told her his apartment there was 29F. Yes, she was E, he was F, and they had not even met until she traveled the world to Yugoslavia yet. He'd always been right next door, and she might never have known. If she hadn't tried Dubrovnik, she might still be alone. Well, there's a moral to learn from little Shirley DeVore, who had to borrow a thou to meet the guy next door. Girls who live in apartments don't just stare at the wall. Open up the door and hurry out in the hall. And ring them bells. Come on, ring them bells. Make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing to hear them jingling. You gotta ring them, swing them, ring them bells.
Thank you, Lisa. As Harry warned you all, you are going to be hearing a lot of biographies tonight. It's just so amazing how much talent has developed in these walls and how many accomplishments the alumni from Central have gone on to accomplish. So we want to share some of them with you. Our next performer is Alan Goodman, class of 1970. Alan is an Emmy Award nominated writer and producer who worked on music video campaigns for artists like Michael Jackson and Billy Joel. He joined the startup team of MTV and produced all of the network's award-winning animation. He also conceived the television show Nick at Night. Currently, he is head writer of the WB animated series Generation O. Alan is married and has 2 young children and will be happy performing a song for us tonight.
Reception I've received in 31 years. Thank you very much. If I can just take a minute to congratulate Harry and offer him my best wishes as he segues into Act 2 of his career. I've had the opportunity to work a lot with young people with shows that I've produced for Nickelodeon. Often people around the age that they are when they appear on stages like this, and I can tell you that they are extremely distracted by most things. And if there's one thing that I remember vividly working with Harry, it's the lesson he taught us that when you're on this stage, you're here to do a job, and there are other people who are relying on you, the fellow cast members who are with you, the crew members, and ultimately the audience. So if I can try to remember back 31 years, there was a great big pretend tree right here, right about here, where the young King Arthur, and I stress the word young, was hiding from the queen he was about to meet, Guinevere. Should we try this? I know what my people were thinking tonight, as home through the shadows they wander. Everyone's smiling in secret delight as they stare at the castle and ponder. Whenever the wind blows this way, you can almost hear everyone say, I wonder what the king is to eat tonight. What merriment is the king pursuing tonight. The candles at the court, they never burned as bright. I wonder what the king is up to tonight. How goes the final hour as he sees the bridal bower being legally and regally prepared? Well, I'll tell you what the king is doing tonight. He's scared. He's scared. You mean that a king fought a dragon, whacked him in two and fixed his wagon, goes to be wed in terror and distress? Yes. A warrior who's so proud in battle, even his armor doesn't rattle, faces a woman petrified with fright? Right. You mean the calling, clamoring, that sounds like a blacksmith hammering, is merely the banging of his royal knees. Please. You wonder what the king is wishing tonight? He's wishing he were in Scotland fishing tonight. What I realize is time while waiting for the bride. He's searching high and low for some place to hide. And oh, the expectation, sublime anticipation he must feel about the wedding night to come. Well, I'll tell you what the king is feeling tonight. He's numb, he shakes, he quails, he quakes, and that's what the king is doing tonight.
How you guys doing so far? It was fun? Our next two performers are both graduates, class of 1997, Aaron Scott and Jason Martinetti. Aaron just graduated from New York University where he studied social transformation. He is a teacher of 5- and 6-year-olds, a New York City community activist, as well as a vocalist and lyricist of De La Hoya, a political punk band that tours the U.S. extensively. Jason is a student at Rutgers University where he studies computer science and music. He currently works as a computer programmer and graphic designer at Piscataway. And they would both very much like to thank Mr. Kazman for giving them some direction and some thoughtfulness to their performance. They're going to be entertaining us with a rendition of Brush Up Your Shakespeare.
How'd we get in here? I don't know. Try that side. Mr. Kazman probably locked the doors so no one could get out. Big yes. Try this side. Try this side. Ah! Whoa.
Girls today in society go for classical poetry. So in their eyes one must quote with ease Aeschylus and Euripides. One must know Homer and leave me both. Sophocles, also Sappho, unless you know Shelley and Keats and Pope. Mr. Kazman will call you a dope, but the poet of them all, is the poet people call the bard of Stratford-on-Avon. Brush up your Shakespeare, start quoting him now. Brush up your Shakespeare, and the women you will wow. Just reclaim a few lines from Othello, and they'll think you're a hell of a fella. If you're blonde, well, when you flatter her, thou know what's on and go play a batterer. If she fights when her clothes you are mussing, what are clothes much ado about nothing? Brush up your Shakespeare, and they'll all cow down. Brush up your Shakespeare, buy it or take it. Make her take it, what's more, as you like it. If she says your behavior is heinous, take a ride in the Coriolanus. Brush up your Shakespeare and go low, down, down. Brush up your Shakespeare. Start quoting him now. Brush up your Shakespeare, and the women you will wow. If you can't be a ham into Hamlet, they will not give a damn or a damnlet. Recite an occasional sonnet, and your laugh will laugh on me upon it. When your baby is pleading for pleasure, then you sample your measure for measure. Brush up the Shakespeare and the long cow, cow, or feet and the long cow, cow, in faith and the long cow, cow.
It just keeps getting better and better. Our next performer, Jennifer Kraft, class of 1991. While at Central, Jen performed in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, as well as How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. She went to study at Wilkes University, also the Boston Conservatory, where she completed work toward her BFA in dance. And she danced with the Jose Mateo Ballet Theater of Boston in such works as The Nutcracker, Cinderella, and Elektra. She also performed with MIT Musical Theater Guild in Jesus Christ Superstar, Chess, and Guys and Dolls. These days, most of her performing is for her appreciative audience of Jaden, age 1.5, and Amelia, age 3. She and her husband are happily settled in Somerset County, New Jersey, but she's here for us tonight. Welcome, Jennifer.
Goodbye, Emile, adieu. We might as well face up to it. We're through. But don't you fret, I shan't be any worse off than before. To tell the truth, Emile, you always were a crashing bore. So long, Emile, ta-ta. I always found your taste a bit bourgeois. I never shared your dreary views on politics and art. You often touched my body, but you never touched my heart. The best way to describe my feelings knowing we must part. Hurrah, Emile, hurrah. Did you think that I would cry? But I can't imagine why. You can't have thought this love you bought was real. It was never true romance, just a question of finance. To be quite blunt, Emile, I got the short end of the deal. Goodbye, Emile, mein Herr. What memories I'll have of this affair. Those weekends up near Salzburg at that garish little inn. The countless nights you fell asleep from drinking too much gin. The card games which I cheated at so I could let you win. Oh, if people only knew how dull it was to live in sin. My eyes, Emile, are dry. Although the time for ending it is nigh. Whatever passions I had felt turned completely cold. My mind's made up, I won't be threatened, flattered, or cajoled. Besides, I hear you're dating someone 17 years old.
as evident by our next performer, Hunterdon Central produces graduates that are not just theater and musical bound, who knew? Mike Maggio, class of '95, he pursued his studies in computers. After earning an associate's from Raritan Valley, Mike worked as a systems administrator with an internet startup company, and then as a developer for AT&T. Now he works with Business Edge, a national consulting firm, as a systems integrator. Mike is pursuing his bachelor's at NJIT in computer science, but he never forgot his moments here on the Central stage, which he's going to prove to you now.
I'm your knight in shining armor, and I love you. You have made me what I am, and I am yours. My love, there's so many ways I want to say I love you. Let me hold you in my arms forevermore. You have gone and made me such a fool. I'm so lost in your love, and oh, we belong together. Won't you believe in my song? Lady, for so many years I thought I'd never find you. You have come into my life and made me whole. Forever, let me wake to see you each and every morning. Let me hear you whisper softly in my ear. In my eyes, I see no one else but you. There's no other love like our love. And yes, oh yes, I always want you near me. I've waited for you for so long. Lady, your love's the only love I need. And beside me is where I want you to be. 'Cause my love, there's something I want you to know. You're the love of my life. You're my lady.
Have to appreciate the stagehands. We have a lot of them here tonight who are alumni. And we couldn't have done any of the shows at Central without them, so we're always appreciative. Our next performer is a recent grad, class of 2000, Christine Clusardis. She was actively involved in both theater and music programs while attending Central. She is now studying elementary education and Spanish at the College of New Jersey, where she is a college ambassador, a participant in the honors program, a member of the college union board, and a singer in the CCM choir. Christine Clusardis.
before I started, I just wanted to tell Mr. Kazman that I picked the song with you in mind because you actually cut me from cabaret with it twice. So. Things were not like this. It's all different now. Changed for the better, though I'm not sure how. Entire definitions on how things should be. Suddenly rewritten, helping me to see that you're my reason, that everything I wanted is right here. You're my reason that I no longer have something to fear. And as long as I have you in my life, will understand that I need you more than you believe. I can't. Minutes turn to hours spent thinking of you. With my mind set on it, there's nothing I can do. I miss you when you're not here. Every second you're away. Once was so confusing, but now I can say that you're my reason. I give my all, my reason that I try. You're my reason that I have somewhere to go when I cry. And as long as I have you in my life, will understand that I need you more than you believe. I can. You're my reason that everything I ever dreamed came true. You're my reason that I feel so loved and so happy too. And as long as I have you in my life, will understand that I need you. I need you. Oh, I need you more than you believe. I can.
Our next performer, Peter Martino, class of 2000, graduated Central last year and has moved on to study at Rutgers University. He's not quite sure what he wants to study yet, but the one thing he is sure of, he wants to marry Britney Spears. Let's see if his charming sense of humor that he is about to show us can win her over in this monologue that he's going to perform by Christopher Durang.
I used to be a very negative person, but then I took this personality workshop and it totally turned my life around. It taught me to take the bad and turn it into good. Like if I was having a bad day, or I don't know, say my best friend randomly decides to betray me, or say I'm going down a one-way street and one of those goddamn bicyclists are going the opposite way on a one-way, and of course one hadn't been looking, and there they are, bearing down on you, about to kill or maim you. Anyway, I'm supposed to look at these situations and say, the glass is not half full, it's half empty. No! No! Sorry. Said it backwards. Force of habit. The glass is not not half empty, it's half full. Of course, your glass won't be half empty or half full if you're hit by a goddamn bicycle. It'll be shattered to pieces, and you'll probably be dead or in the hospital. But I'm really trying to be positive. That's what I'm doing with my life these days. I'm supposed to say to myself, you do not have cancer. At least not today. You are not blind. You are not one of those starving children in Asia or in Africa and Europe. Look at the sunrise. Look at the sunset. Why don't you enjoy them, for God's sakes? And now, I do. Unless, of course, it's cloudy, and then you can't see the sun, or if it's too hot, or if it's too cold. Oh, I guess I haven't quite mastered this whole being positive thing. I mean, you know, it's really hard for me to be positive because I'm really sensitive to the vibrations of people around me, or maybe I'm just paranoid. But in any case, I find it hard to even leave my house sometimes because I'm afraid to come into contact with people in the outside world, like the people in the movie theaters who talk endlessly during the opening credits, and you just know they're going to keep on talking for the rest of the movie, thus making it impossible to concentrate. You say, well, why don't you just move your seat? Fine. Fine. I'll move my seat, and then the person next to me in the new seat will be jiggling candy wrappers through the whole movie, still making it impossible to concentrate. They say, well, why don't you just ask him to stop? Fine. I'll ask him to stop, and they'll send me vibes through the entire movie that they hate me through the entire show, still making it impossible to concentrate. Basically, I don't go to the movies anymore. What's the point? But even if you don't go to the movies, you kind of have to go to the supermarket. The other day, I was in the supermarket trying to buy a can of tuna fish. I felt this very, very disturbed presence right behind me. I could just tell by her focus that she was nuts. So I thought to myself, never look at a crazy person directly. I'll just pretend to be engrossed in whether this tuna fish is in oil or in water, and hopefully she'll go away. So there I am, pretending to be engrossed in whether this tuna fish is in oil or in water, hoping she'll go away. When all of a sudden, wham! She brings her fist down on my head and screams, "Would you move, asshole?" No, why would she do such a thing? I mean, she never even said, could you kindly move at some initial point in the conversation? No, just wham! That's it. I mean, granted, I don't always tell people exactly what I want, like the people in the movie theaters. I just give up and resent them, but I don't bring my fist down, bam, on their heads. Analyzing this, looking at it in a very, very, very positive light, perhaps she had some very disturbing childhood that somehow led her to this point in time, hitting me over the head in the supermarket. But even with that information, which I did not have, it's still my head she's hitting. It's just so unfair. It makes me never want to leave my apartment. Ever again. Thank you.
Don't worry, he'll be all right. We're getting him some help backstage. Our next performance is going to show you a little bit more of the diversity that students from Central have gathered in their years of experience here and beyond. Clarissa Lowe, class of 1990, was a thespian here and started dancing and acting at Central in 1987. Clarissa learned Irish dancing on a missions trip to Northern Ireland in 1998. And Clarissa chose artistic mediums such as dance, drama, and art workshops to reach out to troubled kids in the violent suburbs of Belfast. She's continued her work with children in West Africa while volunteering with Mercy Ships for the past 2.5 years, and has tried to keep up with her Irish dancing even on stormy seas. She thanks Mr. Kazman for giving her the courage to step out onto the stage. Dancing with her tonight is Effa Connolly, Megan Myers, and Julie Spencer. Yay. Moving on. Justin Pope, class of 2000. Justin feels guilty coming back to relive his high school delusions of grandeur after having only been gone for 8 months. But his undying respect for Mr. Kazman has brought him back once again. He is currently a second-year English Lit student at McGill University in Montreal, where he performs with his acoustic rock trio, Stairwell.
So I figure that this is the last time I'm going to get to be unprofessional for Mr. Kazman, so I'm going to read something that I didn't read at rehearsal today. We all know that Big K is a talented director who rules his stage with an iron fist, that he's full of sage wisdom, wistful anecdotes, and we all know that hug that he only seems to give you once a show's over. But Harry Kazman is also the man responsible for giving all of us the best friends we had in high school, and our worst enemies, or so we thought at the time. And it's quite the responsibility. We Hunterdon Central theater types are more emotional than twice our numbers in pregnant women, and have more internal conflicts than the cast of a primetime television drama. We're loud, we're proud, and we're a pain in the ass to control. But somehow, he did it. Our parents never knew when they let us do these shows that they were signing us into not just a cast and a crew, but a family. And without Harry Kazman, all of us would probably have ended up killing each other. So I thank Harry Kazman for his tireless leadership, if not surrogate fatherhood, and I'm proud to have been a part of the legacy that he's leaving behind. I'm going to switch these around. When I was a freshman, Mr. Kazman trusted me with the always famous line, I get no glee from songs about the sea, which I sang like a 40-year-old man, and I couldn't sing that, and I don't know if I can sing now, but I'm going to attempt it. This is a song about cast parties. Of the best of our intentions to the bone, and we aim for the better part of living. We relent ourselves to lying here alone, but take a few steps back to see the world inside. Another two-way mirror take on being real. And it's on in 32-bit color, all the understated shutters that you feel blend. And I swear by now I'm playing through my best attempt at ever understanding where we're standing in the greater scheme of things. And 2 ways to make it through the next few seconds, all too underthought to bear in mind. So say you'll keep it 35 and steady, I'll be right behind writing the lines. Hold her up and keep her talking, walk her down the gravel driveway to the car. And smile like you're on candid camera, and tonight's the night you're going home a star. And I swear that you could be one, but then maybe it's the light, or what we'll say was nothing in the morning when they ask us. I'm over this now and still under somehow the things I forget when I start making sense, and I'm leaving it to bring you home when I do. If I'm up for the drive by then, oh, and I swear that I'm on my limit. I
Our next performer, Jamie Griffin, class of 1998. Jamie is a junior theater major at DeSalle University. She was most recently seen in Oliver and Pitching the Star. In Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival, she was in Cinderella and The Tempest. She has also participated in the Young Choreographer series, the Dance Ensemble Concerts, and she was recently directed the one-act Broken Bones, and has just finished her first play, Dreamwalk. Next year, she looks forward to recording a CD, choreographing her own dance piece, and acting in, as well as managing the box office for the Act 3 production of Alice in Wonderland. I'm exhausted just from reading all of that. Jamie Griffin.
I didn't prepare anything, so I'm just going to sing the song Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones, and I'd like to thank both of the Kazmans. You guys have been wonderful to me for as long as I've known you, so thank you.
Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. I can hear me. Our next performer, Sean Strichek, class of 2000. He is a student at Penn State University. While Sean was a student here at Central, he was involved in several musicals. Bells Are Ringing, Once Upon a Mattress, and he is now going to reprise his role in last year's South Pacific for you.
One dream in my heart, one love to be living for, one love to be living for. This nearly was mine, one girl for my dream, one partner in paradise. This promise of paradise, this nearly was mine. Close to my heart she came, only to fly away, only to fly as day flies from moonlight. Now I'm alone, still dreaming of paradise, still saying that paradise once nearly was mine. Close to my heart she came, only to fly away, only to fly as day flies from moonlight. Now I'm alone, still dreaming of paradise, still saying that paradise once nearly was mine.
Excellent. Our next performer, Carlene Klasnitzer-Roman. Carlene graduated HCRHS in 1985. She just returned from Hawaii after spending 3 years performing and choreographing on cruise ships. I'm jealous. Before that, she was seen as Lola in Damn Yankees, Cassie in A Chorus Line, Anita in West Side Story, Winifred in Once Upon a Mattress, and other productions at the Bucks County Playhouse. She plans to move to New York City to further her career in the theater, and we all wish her luck.
Hi, Mr. K. I wasn't going to say anything, but guess what? Well, I don't know if you realize this, but you're really responsible for helping me find my voice as a singer, that is. You see, as you know, or maybe you didn't know, I come from a very musical family. My brother Robert, who you'll see in Act 2, has a beautiful tenor voice. My mother, who's here tonight, is a classically trained singer. My father sang and played guitar in a band, and my brother played drums. It was a loud household. Well, I was a dancer, but the biggest closet singer there was. And what my family, you probably don't know this, but when you were all out of the house and I was home alone, I was belting out the tunes with the likes of Judy Garland and Barbra Streisand, and I was just waiting for that one big opportunity for somebody to let me sing. Well, Mr. Kazman, that was you. And that was when you gave me the opportunity to play Adelaide in Guys and Dolls. And although I was required to wear a skimpy costume and whack my leg to my shoulder, I also was required to sing. And although I still wear a skimpy costume and whack my leg to my shoulder, I'm still required to sing. They're still letting me sing. And ironically enough, I've been performing this song for the past 2 years from Guys and Dolls in my cabaret. And every time I sing it, I have the fondest memories of you and our times here at Hunterdon Central. So I would just like to say thank you.
It says here, the average unmarried female, basically insecure, due to some long frustration, may react with psychosomatic symptoms difficult to endure, affecting the upper respiratory tract. In other words, just from waiting around for that plain little band of gold, a person can develop a cold. You could spray it wherever you figure the strap to kind look. You could give her a shot for whatever she's got, but it just won't work if she's tired of getting the fisheye from a hotel clerk. A person can develop a cold. It says here, the female remaining single, just in the legal sense, shows a neurotic tendency. See, note. Oh, note. Clever. Chronic organic syndromes. Toxic. A hypertense. Involving the eye, the ear, the nose, and the throat. In other words, just from worrying whether the wedding is on or off, a person can develop a cough. You can feed her all day with the vitamin A or the bromo pills, but the medicine never gets anywhere near where the trouble is. If she's getting a kind of a name for herself and a name ain't his, a person can develop a cough. And furthermore, just from stalling the wedding trip, a person can develop a grip. When they get on the train for Niagara, and she can hear church bells chime, the compartment is air conditioned, and the mood sublime. When they get off at Saratoga for the 14th time, a person can develop a blood rip, la post-nasal drip, with the wheezes and the sneezes, and a sinus that's really a pip, from a lack of community property and a feeling she's getting too old. A person can develop a big bad cold.
Hi, Harry. It's me, Eric Altoff. Remember me? You don't remember me? Oh, man, come on. I only worked on your Lindbergh show for like 7 summers. I worked on your cabarets and your musicals. I was in your art and craft of film class, for heaven's sake, and you still don't remember me? What the hell's a guy gotta do to get remembered around this joint? Anyway, Harry, I'm sending you this videotape because I am unable to make your farewell concert in person, and for that I do apologize. You see, when I first went to college and signed up to be a creative writing major, what they neglected to tell me was that when I graduated, I was gonna be poor for the rest of my life. So that's why I'm sending you this little videotape as a present and as a thank you for everything that you did for me when I was at Hunterdon Central. You know, when I'm trying to write, sometimes I need a little break, you know, with stress relief. So this is where I come. I call this the stress relief cabinet. This is the instrument that I use to conduct $1 million deals with on a daily basis. We call it the Kazman phone around here. As you can see, it's silent at the moment. Truth be told, it doesn't ring that often. But someday, man, someday, I can't think of a truthful way to end that sentence. And this is my production office, where all of the magic happens. This is my secretary, Tracy.
Eric, I've told you, I'm not your secretary, okay?
Divorced. Okay, Becky, what I'd like you to do for me is look at the camera and say, congratulations, Harry Kazman.
Why?
It's for this thing up there. Just look right over there.
No. What? I don't want to.
It'll only take you a second.
I don't want to say it.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
So anyway, I'm talking to Tommy, right? And he says, hey, Eric, I love your script. Baby, I gotta tell you, this thing is butter, it's spelt, it's hip, it's rockin'. The only thing about it, though, is you gotta change your ending, you know, make it a little bit better. I said, better? Tommy, I hardly knew her. You get it? Better? I hardly knew her?
I get it.
I thought
I get it. Here, get this, right? To work.
Yes, boss. Hey, Big K, I just can't thank you enough for everything that you taught me in your art and craft of film class. Everything that you taught me in that class, I've brought with me in my study of film and in my production of film. In fact, some of the great American movies that have been made in the 20th century, I watched and learned in your class. Such greats as the Hammer film classic, Dracula, Prince of Darkness, the Sylvester Stallone actioner, Cliffhanger, the third in the Nightmare on Elm Street series, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and finally, the little-seen, oft-maligned masterpiece, Death Wish 3, starring Charles Bronson. All these and more you can learn about in Mr. Kazman's Art and Craft of Film class. Here's what a typical class looked like. Hey, good morning, class. Today's movie is Annie Hall. This is a Woody Allen film that was made in 1977. It stars Woody Allen. It was also directed and written by Woody Allen. It features Woody Allen as Albie Singer, the main character. Also featured is Diane Keaton as Annie Hall, the titular character. And I want you to all please pay very close attention as you're watching. You will see Woody Allen frequently in this film, as you will see Diane Keaton. The main character, I'd also like you to take note of all the cinematic conventions that Mr. Allen not only uses but subverses in this, which is arguably his best film, and arguably the greatest film of all time.
Mr. Kazman? Mr. Kazman, you can't consider Annie Hall to be the most wonderful cinematic film of all time. I mean, it lacks any sense of continuity and focus. It's filled with this obese sense of Jewishness. I mean, a real film has a visual sense of continuity and aspect, like Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai. There's a film full of epic poetry and beauty. You can't deny that.
Excuse me. Yes, you. You know nothing of my work. Frankly, how you got into this class about film scholarship is beyond me.
Remember, kids, tape is cheap, so use a lot of it. This entire sketch, I mean, it makes no sense to me. It's like a Noel Coward play or the cast of a Fellini film. What can I say? My tastes are very complex. Harry, I just have to say, it's been a privilege and an honor to be in your classes, work on your shows, and get to know you as a person. May you continue to do what you do best. Bring us the best quality shows in town, that being Flemington, for the next 32 years. So congratulations, good night, and one more thing. I never saw the Lindbergh Child!
So the tribute continues to a wonderful man. We have many more acts, and everyone is here with a purpose tonight, to say goodbye to Mr. Harry Kazman. How do we say that? How do we say thank you? And the best way everyone here tonight knows how? To perform with the love and the courage that he taught us. So our next act, we already met Aaron Scott earlier this evening, and now he's going to be joined by Alex Radis. Alex is currently a full-time singer, songwriter, and musician with the acoustic duo Duende. His solo CD, Mad Faith, was released in February of 2000, and Duende is now working on their first release as a duo. They have played from coast to coast over the last year and a half and can now be seen in and around New Jersey, New York City, and Philadelphia.
Hello? That was a rhetorical hello. I can try it again. Hello? Oh, man. Dylan.
Well, there's a lot of things been said about Harry tonight, and we have some stuff to add, but Alex and I spent about 4 years, a lot of time on the stage, and a lot of experiences with Harry, so this is our tribute.
Well, back when I was 15, back when I knew everything, I used to sit in my room and sing along with the plays. And I met a man named Mr. K, said, come on out and do that on stage. He said a lot of other things too, like, you missed your entrance. And you're late for rehearsal again, Alex. And learn your lines!
Back when I was 15, back when I didn't know anything, didn't have much passion, and didn't have much heart. But then Mr. Kazman took a chance, put me on stage, told me to dance, and he said, Aaron, try to sing, please try to act.
But we got it together and we learned the parts, and we tried to figure out what he meant by art, and I think somewhere in there we worked our way into his heart. I'm sorry, Mr. Kazman. I forgot my line. But as you'll notice, I did finally cut my hair for this performance. And I bet he'll never know how much changed in all the lives he touched, but we can trace it back and say, that's the man who inspired me.
We owe it all to Mr. Kazman, who got us hooked to the heat of the stage lights. And today, Mr. K is the only man who could get us to wear a pair of tights. So thank you, Mr. K, for showing us the way. We didn't know it then, but you're right again. So thank you, Mr. K. It was like I had just been revived. Entertaining brought me back to life, and every day I craved to be back on this stage. And every time I had no clue, Mr. Kazman told me just what to do, how to say this line, how to sing this note, how to wear this silly costume with a beard and a plaid suit.
So now I've got a career in the arts. Mr. Kazman's happy, but my parents aren't. And every time I'm feeling blue, I think about what Mr. Kazman said to do. He said, Alex, there are no small audiences. There are only small touring acts with limited regional billings.
Now I'm performing on the road, traveling from show to show, sleeping in a beat-up van on the side of the road. From a smoke-filled club in Green Bay to a small basement in Santa Fe, one thing is for sure, we miss Mr. K. We owe it all to Mr. Kazman, who got us hooked on the heat of the stage lights. To this day, Mr. K is the only man who could get us to wear a pair of tights. So thank you, Mr. Gay, for showing us the way. Back then you showed us how we could really use you now. So thank you, Mr. K. Thank you, Mr. K. Mr. Thank you, Mr. K. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. K.
You can put your pants back on now. Well, if that was not an appropriate way to say thank you, I don't know what is. Let's keep going. Our next performer, Linda Roberts-Bush, class of 1971, is going to be singing for us. After graduating from Central, Linda attended Frostburg State College, majoring in speech and theater. She currently resides in Flemington, where she has appeared in numerous community theater productions and sung the national anthem at the Somerset Patriots Ballpark. She currently sings with the Diocesan Festival Choir and the adult choir at the St. Magdalene de Pazzi Church. Linda Roberts-Bush.
I wasn't going to say anything tonight, but other people are, so the only thing I really have to say is that I was going to major in interior design until Harry cast me in a play. And that was the end of that. Okay, well,